Tuesday. It's Speak the Truth Tuesday with Vanity. And we got B more here. Drew couldn't be here today. He had to work. So we never want to pull somebody away from work. Um, but it's another, we still hold it down. We still, still Speak the Truth Tuesday. How you doing? Before we get into our guests and all of the introductions.
I'm good today, so far.
How was Minnesota?
It was good. It was great. I mean, I had better weekends up here. I'm gonna go back this weekend though. So.
Oh, okay. What got you going to Minnesota?
Shit, money.
I ain't mad at that.
No bullshit. I ain't just going up here to kick it. I can do that shit in Milwaukee. I'll be up here kicking it too. Though. It's fun to get up here.
Really?
Yeah,
I really need to go. Like I really want to.
you never go?
No.
If you go there, you should go to Mall of America just on some kicking.
Of course, like I'm just trying to
to.
figure out now where.
That motherfucker big as hell though. I ain't gonna lie.
I heard people say that you need like 2 days to get there. So
you need what?
Like 2 or 3 days to get through everything.
Oh yeah.
So like, okay, I'm trying to figure out too, like what I want to do for his birthday. I thought about Disney. I got a flight credit, but I'm like, with all these COVID cases going back up, I'm scared like to go to Florida.
Yeah, you like the Mall of America. They got amusement park in that motherfucker.
Disney is actually restricted.
Really?
Yeah, so like when you go, you don't get to just be there for the whole day until you're tired. They block you out a certain amount of time, and that is your time in Disney.
Oh.
Because that's what happened with us this year.
Okay. That I actually like that because I got some good news. Like I got an email from Spirit saying that I had like a $214 unused flight credit. I'm like, oh shit. And at first I was thinking about me and I'm like, you know what? I haven't taken my son anywhere in like 2 years and I was like, I want to go to Disney. So I'm like, okay. So I booked us the flight. So I'm like, that's gonna kind of discipline me to save the money for this shit. Cause how expensive was it? Don't give me that look.
If you have to ask that question, that's your answer. Okay.
Can you give me like a ballpark range?
I mean, don't go with less than 3 G's if you really want to have fun. But in my defense, we were there for almost a whole week too.
Well, then you got 2 kids.
That's why I said.
So I'm like, mine would be like 1,500.
But I don't know how much you ball out on your son though.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. You down there, do got go down there like you just y'all 2 G's.
Yeah, you got a minimum.
I spent like 2 G's when I was in Vegas, but I was down there for like a week too though. Like
Yeah,
that was
you only
just
spent
me.
$2,000 in a week. That's not bad.
You got to remember it's
It
Vegas.
might have been more than that though. But
He made more.
Right,
He made.
Yeah.
It might have been more than that though. But
Okay.
if my count was right, shit, that ain't expensive as it is. I don't know.
Yeah, because you pay $9 for a bottle of water, and you pay to sit down, and you just pay for everything. I don't see how people keep going back to Vegas. But then again,
That shit slapped up.
people always be like, I don't see how you keep going back to New Orleans, and I'm like, I guess it's just different opinions. But
I want to go back to New Orleans too though.
me too. I ain't gonna be able to go for a while.
I definitely want to go back there and eat.
And eat.
Right. What? We was down there eating good.
I just want to go smell the air, like stand in the humid air and be like, I'm here. Okay, so we have a guest today, a special guest host on the show today, and then we'll get into the topic, but then we're going to let our guests introduce themselves.
I am T. Marie.
Here we go with this shit. Speak it to the mic, by the way.
I am T. Marie.
Okay, so tell us who you are, what you do, where you're from. We get into business. This is Speak Your Truth, ma'am.
I was like, I met her, but when you first started, we're not giving her the job.
And I do a lot of different things. I can't go into detail, we're on the mic.
That's the point.
You can't come on Speak Your Truth and not speak your truth.
Right. You know what? We're gonna do this over again. Look. And so expectations, Helen, we ain't come.
I'm in sales. I sell things.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What school did you go to?
Engineering, elementary, middle, high school.
High school. What school you rep?
No, not elementary school. I think that all
That's an achievement.
It is. It definitely therapy.
I know a few people that's achieved that. So congratulations.
That's not a good thing though.
Not good, but it's still an achievement.
It is. Hey, that is true. So we're gonna dive right into our topic today, and we promised that this season we are definitely, because we had a lot of funny episodes last season, but I promised that this season we are going to talk. We were going to talk about more serious things that are actually relevant, things that you can take away. And what prompted this is, I don't want to give away her last name, or her name, but there was a listener who sent me an email earlier this month, and it was just the sweetest thing I've ever read. And it's like, I listened to this episode about you being vulnerable, about y'all talking about being insecure and you not liking your features and this and that. And she told me her story, and I'm like, okay, I really need to, like, people are listening. Like,
Yeah.
I need to do more episodes like this. So today's episode is all about self again, and it's all about introspection. But this time we are talking about not the bad things people have done to us, but just some of our internal challenges in the way that we've either treated ourselves or other people. So I'm gonna start this, and before we got on the mic, I was actually, look, I'm getting chills now. Y'all finna judge me, but whatever. Um, Sometimes we really be full of shit. Like, I know the new word is toxic, blah blah blah, whatever. But it's like we really do be full of our own shit. And sometimes, especially women, we don't like to admit it. So, for example, for a long time, I always called myself dating people, but what I was really doing was using people for my own personal selfish benefit. And I was always told, like, you're selfish, you're selfish, you're selfish. And I could just I had my blinders on and I could never really see why. And this is why I say therapy works, because I have been going to therapy since, I want to say, about like 5 to 6 good months now. And I have been able to identify my own bullshit patterns. And I'm like, I'm not at the part where you like make direct demands with people. I ain't at that part yet. I'm at the part where I'm recognizing, like, like one of my bad traits, or one of my bad struggles that I had to overcome, was being a user and like taking advantage of people, or taking people for granted. And just kind of sitting with that for a while, because I'm like, damn, like, I'm one of the chicks they sing about in these songs. Like, no, but on a serious note, a lot of people don't really, or maybe they're ashamed to, or they don't want to say out loud or admit the bad things about themselves, where it's like, oh, I'm single because of this, or because these men, or because of these men. And it's like, and not necessarily saying in a single sense, or I attract a lot of negative energy, but sometimes you don't know that you putting off a lot of negativity yourself. So I want to open up the floor. If you're chiming in on Facebook, you can definitely leave some comments for us, and then we'll read them. But I just want to open up the floor to either one of you, and like, what kind of self challenge or like thing that you've acknowledged about yourself that you've overcome. So it don't have to be like as deep as mine, like being a user, but it could be like anything.
I don't know. For me personally, that's like procrastination. That shit was like, you know what I'm saying? Like, being a procrastinator. I used to do that shit in high school. Like, I was with the motherfuckers when they worked the last fucking, hopefully the 10 minutes before class type shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, not always that extreme, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I used to procrastinate like motherfucker, and that shit definitely flood over into your adult life and shit. So I feel like that was probably my biggest challenge that I've been changing about myself and shit. That exhausted me right as fuck. You know
So
what I'm saying?
like as an adult, what can you like think of a time like where you procrastinated and something was like real fucked up, like you fucked up something or forgot something important?
I'm trying to think. Like, I probably have to sit and think for a couple minutes and shit. Like, pinpoint one particular situation and shit. But you just know every life shit, you could be off and wash the dishes and never do that shit. You can do that shit the next day. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just shit like that and shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? So that shit go from little shit to big shit. You know what I'm saying? Even like I said, from back high school, I'm supposed to be going on motherfucking homework and waiting last minute to do that shit instead of doing that shit early and getting that shit ahead of time and shit. So I feel like that's probably my biggest obstacle to overcome and shit since I've been an adult. But I definitely been overcoming that shit, seeing the results from that shit.
So like I now I've never been a procrastinator. Probably up until now because I'm just tired all the time. I got a lot of stuff going on. But like sometimes I would sit and just like, well, I don't feel like doing it, or I'll do it tomorrow, and just like tomorrow never come. And sometimes like I stunted the own growth of my business by doing that shit. Where it's like I knew I needed to send out a newsletter or like upload some product or something, and I wouldn't do it. But then I would have people reaching out like, hey, I thought this was gonna be on the website. And it's like, dang, that's really bad for business. Like, woo, yes, procrastination. And it's like now I'm not gonna stop working until it's done. So that's why I got my laptop right here. You can see them on there. Okay, what about you?
I'll have to agree with you. I done use. I'm gonna say men, just people in general. Use people in general, just for my own benefit.
Yeah.
And I had to realize, okay, this ain't cool. I'm hurting people. But it really took for somebody to do it to me to be like, oh, okay, this ain't what's up.
You don't like
Like,
it.
yeah.
That's how you feel good when the shoe be on the other foot and shit. I swear to God. I think that's just from everybody. Like, yeah, everybody probably went through that because I think everybody use me and everybody will use somebody at some point in time. And the motherfucker do that shit to you, or you know what I'm saying, turn around and shit don't go your way. You be like, dang,
Right.
it's payback for all the times I stay back. Like, what the fuck? Like, that shit, yeah, that
See,
shit.
that's kind of how I felt last week. So last week I left my ATM card and the money in the ATM. And the first thing I did was like somebody ugly ass came up off of me instead of blaming myself like you need to slow the fuck down.
Hold on, so you put your pen in, you put your pen in.
So I put my pen in. You know how you tap for the receipt, and then I just because I was trying to hurry and get to the next destination, but I called Wells Fargo. They sent me a new car, and they're gonna give me the money back.
They probably have to look on the camera and all type of shit.
Man, I'm just.
I'm like, dang, what I do deserve it.
Oh my God! And it was
How
Friday the 13th.
how
Too.
much-
I don't even want to tell you how much I got because it's gonna make me cry.
How much was it?
I can't even tell y'all.
It was over a G?
No.
Oh, okay, I was
No.
about to say.
But that was my whole weekend money. I was supposed to go to the Brand thing that she did at Oasis. I was supposed to go to a boat party. Everything that I was in, I was like, maybe I just need to sit down. So me and KJ hung out and went to State Fair instead. And State Fair, people were saying the food was nasty, and I'm like, what the fuck was y'all eating? Like y'all must have been eating the same shit.
Everybody that went down, they tell me the food was nasty.
I was seeing people on my face like the food was trash. I'm like, shit, that bacon wrapped shrimp ceviche, deep fried cheesecake.
I was on my way back from Minnesota on
Yeah.
Sunday.
I'm definitely gonna have to
Yes, turkey leg,
I didn't get back to like
the
6.
deep fried cookie dough. You
Corn
got
on the
six?
cob,
Yes,
yes.
the corn on the cob. I had about 4 corns on the cob.
Sure,
I had a
sure.
funnel cake. I had a pizza. I had an ice cream. Oh my God, I had a chicken on the stick and a grilled pineapple. Y'all know how much shit I ate? And I did wine tasting. Y'all, woo! Y'all.
Okay. Yeah, you ate everything.
I
You
did.
had to look at everything.
I ain't gonna lie, I was fucking real.
Man, I ain't even gonna lie.
Everybody was at that motherfucker on Sunday too.
They was, and so I was there from like 1 to 5, and then it was starting to get too
Wasn't
crowded,
that
so
the
I
last day?
left. That was the last day.
I ain't get back from Minnesota till like 6:30 and shit.
Oh, you would have had time still.
I know this shit. You know, I get out of the drive.
Speaking of State Fair, I went to State Fair and got my car keys lost. I had to pay $175 for them to come give me, how they come up there with the locksmith. Lost my
Damn.
keys at State Fair, but I got them back Sunday.
Oh, for real?
Yeah,
But that was good.
But still.
Where was they at?
I don't know. I'm gonna tell you why. I don't know. I lost them. They went in my pocket no more.
Damn.
So, yeah.
Jesus, you got no.
And I didn't even realize I got to the car. I'm like, where are my keys?
You know what?
Damn, you realize that shit once you go back to
Yes.
the car. I would
All
have
the way
been sick.
back to the car.
See, it's another piece of thing. Like 2 weeks ago, I dropped my fucking cuss card in Pick and Save, and I had to retrace my steps. Thank God I found it was right in front of the damn macaroni and noodles and shit. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on with me? Like, I don't know if I need to hire an assistant or what,
You
but
do.
my mind is just going like 5,000 beats per minute. I'm like, shit, I be forgetting stuff and losing stuff. But I would want to say, like, have either of you ever felt like, so like when you think back, so not family, so don't count family because you know how like most of our friends be family. Think about actual people like, have y'all ever felt like damn, like maybe I have been like a bad friend, or maybe I have been a bad family member, or like maybe I have been a bad parent. Like, have you ever just sat down? Really? Okay. What's a share some more?
I mean, me personally, I ain't never really been on that type of time with people like, you know what I'm saying? I always been the motherfucker considered a good friend. Like, you know what I'm saying? I was always encouraging, or you know what I'm saying? Me and my niggas, I was always that one and shit. So I can't necessarily even say I've been like a bad friend to nobody and shit. Most of y'all the people I'm friends with, like real life friends, we still friends to this day, even if we don't talk every day. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I done been on the other foot with motherfuckers been on some janky shit with me, and I'd have to like stop fucking with motherfuckers. Definitely, like, yeah, I can't even do like that because I wouldn't even do you like that and shit. You know what I'm saying? So I always been trying to be genuine with people. But now if you talking about like some females or some shit, you know what I'm saying? But if you talking about like some motherfucking females where I done probably, oh, I'm on this with you, but I ain't been on that shit. Of course, like,
No,
like as far as like real life friends, like yeah, like real life friends.
I've been friends with people, and I was genuine, but I could have been, when I say like a bad friend, I say I could have been more supportive. I could have like been more attentive to different type of situations. But yeah, I've lacked off in friendships before.
And you know, y'all know like dudes' friendship different than female friendship. Like y'all be a little bit more emotionally attached. Like you love your niggas, but y'all be like, you know what I'm saying? Y'all be a little bit more emotionally invested in y'all friendships versus dudes. Like y'all get mad at y'all friends count like niggas like, oh shit, bro, go ahead, do what you gotta do. You know what I'm saying? And not really, it be certain shit like y'all handle friendships different and shit than dudes do. So you know what I'm saying? I can see how it'll be times where that shit be up and down as far as like how females y'all be more emotionally attached to y'all friendships and shit. Like I love my niggas, but if I don't talk to my nigga for a week or two, shit, he might be doing some shit. You know what I'm saying? Females out there, y'all be, I ain't talking to you in 2 weeks. Where you been at, bitch? Like be on their ass and shit. I swear to God, I want that how females be. I got all sisters, and you know what I'm saying? Like I don't understand. Like one of my sisters, they be on the phone all day, every day. I talk to my mom probably once, twice a week. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't just sit up on the phone with her all day. Like they be at each other's house all day. They be, you know what I'm saying? That's just how they do and shit. You know what I'm saying? They be at each other's houses, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, either if I call one of them at my sister's house or at my mom's house or at my other sister's house, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, that shit, y'all relationships be different than how dudes kick it and shit.
I can say that. Cause I remember when I did have my best friend through college, like when we stopped being friends, like that actually really hurted my feelings. Like I was heartbroken, like a relationship almost. Like sometimes I low key still don't be over that, but I'm like, I don't know. I think like real friendships have some kind of emotional attachment.
Oh yeah, like I said, don't get me wrong. Like I don't love my niggas, like I don't fuck with my niggas, but like niggas' relationships don't be that deep and shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? As far as like how females be a little bit more deeper in their relationships before, you know what I'm saying? Like dudes, they be real cool. They could be friends. They could be all that shit. But yo, nigga not finna be. You know what I'm saying? It's not gonna be it ain't gonna be too much extra shit. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just how my relationship is with my guys and shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know. But if you, like I said, it's different. It's like the shit. The dude in the female relationship gonna be different than your relationship with your guys and shit versus your relationship with two females with a friends. You know what I'm saying? It's just different dynamics and shit. I mean, what you think, Tom? Like dudes definitely be having different relationships.
Oh yeah, we completely different.
Yeah, like we have different.
Dudes can actually not talk for a whole week and pick up exactly where we were.
Exactly.
Shit ain't gonna be no different.
You good, dog? Like I ain't seen you in a minute. You good? Oh, shit, let's get out of here.
Like, no, bitch,
I ain't heard from you today, bitch. Fuck you. I'm like, the hell, nigga? I was asleep.
Yeah, it's definitely different dynamics in them two types of relationships. So I can see how females be falling out more and shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? And dudes and shit.
Well, I don't know if I agree with that. How we fall out more.
But y'all usually always end up getting back friends though. Like once niggas fall out, most of the time niggas be done. Like
because it's hard for us to fall out.
Because a lot of times, like females, y'all will be in y'all emotions with each other, and y'all fall out. I'm not talking to her right now, and all that shit. Like if you're not talking to one of your niggas, that means there's really some shit that happened that y'all not gonna. It's gonna be some disrespect somewhere, like on a man tip. Like it's not gonna be over no little. oh,
Men
fuck, man, answer the phone last week, or
men will fall out. It has to be either A, you play me on some money, or you overstep the boundary with a particular female.
Disrespect, like, for you to fall out with your boy, like, it gotta be some real life disrespect. And I'm not niggas can't like you and your niggas come in blows and still get back friends.
Sometimes you have to fight to get back.
Yeah, that should be.
That's the difference with men. Y'all can fight and become back friends. I ain't fighting over no bitch, and she gonna be my friend.
Right, like we might have to fight just to get it out.
See, so it is different.
Yeah, like I'm saying, it's different dynamics. Like, cause you will fight with your nigga and y'all shake hands afterwards. You know what I'm saying? Cause sometimes it just be over some respect, like on a man chick, like, no, bro, you ain't gonna be on that with me. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, it's definitely different from
like I said, females, y'all be more so on. I'm not talking to her right now over some petty shit versus like yo nigga, like, bro, you ain't treat me how I'm supposed to be treated as a man type shit. Like niggas will fall out over shit like that all the time.
Well, what's the pettiest thing y'all ever fell out with somebody for?
Niggas owe me $40. This is before that became a thing. This is when $40 could actually fill your gas tank up for about 2 weeks.
Hey, $40 fill up my gas tank.
Going nowhere.
You know, right? Like you must don't go nowhere.
Work from home.
Bad, you going.
No, but it wasn't. And the reason it wasn't the actual $40. It was the principle of the fact that you asked for it. I gave it to you, and I told you, look, this is my last. I got shit coming up on this Friday. I'm gonna need that back.
Yeah.
You say, cool, but instead you go ghost. You got a problem. Next thing you know it, I'm at the club kicking it. You happen to be in the club, and you in after time you got to pay. So they the early time when you could have got in for free was when like nigga you got to pay $20 to get in the dough, and you brung a bitch. So now we might have to get into a fight right here in this club.
See, like I said, that's different. Motherfucker, like bro, you literally like I can't even look out for you. Like you really just saying
right.
all that shit over $40. Like that's disrespect, my nigga. You know what I'm saying?
Like at least the Kurt. Because think about this, the Kurt
with your bitch.
Right. The Kurt and the crazy shit is with niggas. If you would have just like, hey, bro, honestly, I ain't got it this week. I can get you back. That's all you gotta say, bro. We be like, all right. So if we see you in the club, it's like, oh, now I see why you couldn't pay a nigga back. But then we still gonna go get a drink and mind our business. The fact that you dodging my phone call, you don't never let that shit go to voicemail any other time. I text you, that shit is still on red. Like, you know what? All right, nigga. I'm about to pull down on you. Right. No disrespect.
Communication. I think that was the pettiest thing I ever felt out with a female about communication.
Mine, it was my fault.
It always is.
I don't know. I probably like fell out like niggas that be knowing you and shit, if be talking to females about you and shit. I done fell out with niggas over that shit for sure. Like
really?
Yeah, cause I don't play that shit. Like I ain't never been no nigga that had to talk down or say nothing about no motherfucker to get a female and shit. So when niggas that did that shit to me, that was like the ultimate. Like, oh yeah, I'm cool on niggas. That was probably like I ain't gonna say. I mean that is. It ain't. I ain't gonna say it's petty, but that shit at the end of the day though, that shit ain't right though. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gotta talk down.
Females like that, like, why you talking
yeah,
about
exactly. Them type of situations, like damn.
Right.
That's the niggas on.
Right.
Niggas be thinking that shit be sweet.
Yeah,
females do not like that shit. The female gonna come right back and tell you. That's how you know, like, oh damn, I'm with
hell yeah.
They do that too though. They know a nigga like you when they like the nigga. They say, oh, she got this many kids, or she ain't got that, or you want to talk, girl, go on somewhere, move around.
Motherfuckers be janky as it is. Like, come on now, don't play it like that. I mean, because at the end of the day, though, if a motherfucker like you, if they don't, you can't force nothing. Like, so if a motherfucker not fucking with you, shit, you think talking about the next motherfucker, you gonna make that motherfucker want to fuck with you more? That shit gonna just happen if it's supposed to happen. Like, you ain't never, especially as a nigga, though, like, that shit damn near, you breaking the code and shit.
Breaking the cow. I had a real bad habit of saying like really mean things. So like I was 18. Like I chalk all of this up to age. This was really bogus of me. But I was working at Walgreens, and one of my high school friends at the time, her grandmother had passed away, and I was just really insensitive to the situation because I was emotionally just unintelligent at the moment, and she just like wasn't coming to work no more, or like she wasn't like really. I had to do her job, and I got frustrated. So instead of acknowledging that she was sad that her grandma, had passed away, I'm like, damn, we need to hire somebody else, and then we started being friends. I'm like, I was really a little bitch. Yeah. Like, wow, okay.
I'm glad you can acknowledge that.
Now I can at 31. Ain't that crazy? 31.
Because at that age you were a little bitch.
Yeah, I was. But I could own up to it. But some people were saying now, like, I got a bad attitude. Niggas can't tame me. I can't be handled. And I'm like, that's not cute. Like, go work that out. Go work that out. Yeah. Like, that shit is not you saying. You just basically saying you loose cannon. Yeah, like, can't nobody tame me, or I can't be handled, or I'm like, especially when women be like, I'm a handful. What does that mean? Like, so I would be so turned off if I was a dude like that.
That's why they single. That's why they can't keep it.
But I'm saying if that ain't negative in itself enough, or like toxic as people say enough, I'm like, that's a bad trait.
That means they think that how they are is okay and it's acceptable. That's what that is.
People you gotta avoid.
You gotta watch out.
Once you figure out about people, you gotta.
But it's like I wish it was just more work being done for us to figure out some of these things about ourselves, because sometimes it don't always be energy, it don't always be vibes and all of that stuff. Sometimes it really be just you. So like constantly you see the same people all the time. If your energy is bad, if your energy is this, but these be the same people. Like, I just got an attitude problem. I got to like, you the problem. Like, you part of the problem too. Like, you giving off the bad vibe. Like, I really wish people would just look more into their own like selfish and fucked up traits and try to fix it, instead of just saying like
the word.
Yes, like it's you.
Because all fucked up.
Sometimes people energy really just don't be off.
No, and that's the part of life though. Like shit, you learn. You gotta live and learn this motherfucker. You can't just, you know what I'm saying? You don't know everything out gate.
But everybody think they do. Some people do think they know everything. They don't allow themselves to know space to grow. They think they know it all already. Like, well, if you know it all, then you got it all figured out, huh? You just can't change nothing about it. I ain't gonna never change. Cool. You just stuck.
Learning on techno days up. You really on that shit.
You learn something every day.
And there's so much shit out here in the world you can learn. People just don't be open minded. So
that's definitely true.
You definitely gotta have an open mind and see different perspectives on how other shit work in life, because everything ain't just about how you think shit go in life.
So we are going to transition in. So first of all, thank y'all for the comments and definitely the conversation, because I think it's a tough topic and it's like it's not something that you want to continue to poke at. But I think we definitely gave an earful for the listeners to think about, like, what are your fucked up habits, or what are you doing? Like, are you the toxic friend? Are you the this? Like, just really think about your circle. Like, I do it typically like every full moon, like when you want to write down your intentions, because it's like I told myself I want to have more meaningful friendships, and I don't want to have artificial ones like no more, or I want to try to be less selfish, or I want to be more giving, or I want to be this and that and that. So try to do that, for your next ritual cycle, or like prayer or meditation or whatever it is that you do. But we're going to go to everybody's favorite segment, the Talk Your Shit segment. So I feel like I got some shit to talk today, so I'm going to go first. Y'all ready? Okay, 1, 2, 3, talk your shit. Oh, I thought she knew to clap. Okay, my bad. So we got, let's explain it. I thought she did, because she watched the show all the time. I thought she knew to clap. So I count to 3, and then we clap like talk your shit, as you just thought. And then everybody gets time to do it. Ready? 1, 2, 3, talk your shit. I didn't even know. So my shit to talk. So my job, I'm not gonna say my job out loud, but it's interesting, like how you have a complaint, and I wouldn't necessarily say I threaten to leave, but basically when you threaten to leave, it's like they throw more at you. It's like, oh, let's retitle you, or give you more money, or do this or do that. And I'm just like, dang, that's really all they think it takes. So I'm like, I'm really praying for the success and working for the success of this business with a vengeance, because I don't care if it takes like 4, 5, 6 years. Like, I definitely want to be working for myself one day soon, because I'm like, I can't do this anymore. So that's just my stuff to talk. I'm just gonna hang in there. Who going next? Okay. 1, 2, 3, talk your shit.
Well, since we was on the subject of toxic traits and all that shit, being good friends and all that shit, I just want to let people know, like, situation with me happened probably sometime earlier this year. I should just say I'm gonna say earlier this year. Motherfuckers be burning bridges with you, and then you think expecting your ass to send a boat once they do that shit. Like, if you really fuck with somebody, y'all got years invested in that shit. No matter if it's a girlfriend or whatever type of relationship, your mom, your whoever, friendship, all that shit. Like, don't burn them bridges over a moment and then be looking for a motherfucker to be coming back and still fucking with you because you was living in the heat of the moment trying to prove somewhere, trying to prove that you tough and shit. That shit don't really mean nothing at the end of the day when you really got time and invested in with people. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, that day how you feeling that day, that shit not gonna last forever. You know what I'm saying? You gotta understand people go through shit. You know what I'm saying? Shit happens. So don't burn bridges with people that you really gonna fuck with, that you gonna want to fuck with, or you gonna need to fuck with. You know what I'm saying? Down the line and shit, and try to just be solid and shit, because it's hard to do that shit for sure.
Yeah.
That's all I really want to say.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Talk your shit.
Okay, I want to talk shit about my landlord because that pisses me off. So I was in California for 5 days, and I pay for parking. You know where I park my car at. I pay every month faithfully. While I'm out of town, the people that he got a contract with to tow cars towed my car. So when I get back, I had to pay to get my car out of my parking spot. I mean, out the tow lot, but I was parked where I paid to park. And instead of my landlord going to tell the people like, hey, you know, she paid to park here, it was a car that's supposed to be here. He gonna tell me he ain't gonna do anything. When I told him that $600 I have to give them to pay for my put that towards my rent.
Yeah.
And I'm not paying my rent this month, and I'm mad about it. So fuck these monkey landlords. I'm trying to move.
Oh wow, that's some shit for that. Right.
So that's my shit. I wanted to talk.
Yeah, a lot of these landlords are janky. But I definitely want to thank both of y'all and you for filling in last minute for Drew. He will be back next week, but we do have more episodes coming. So next week we're definitely going to hit the plastic surgery trend that's happening. So happening, I should definitely say. So join us next week, Tuesday, or excuse me, the week after, because we're bi-weekly. So join us in 2 weeks for our next show. Speaking True Podcast. Make sure you like us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram. We will see y'all.